Hello, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video is our fourth 6-inch square of our year-long crochet along. We're doing each month, like I said, a 6-inch square, and we're using the birthstone of the month as our inspiration. This month is April, and April can be the clear crystal or the diamond. Both of them have been used depending on what website or place or jewelry store that you look. And what I've done with this one is I tried to incorporate a diamond shape in the center of our 6-inch square, and I really do like how it turned out. This is one I did in the opposite colors with the yellow on the inside and the white, and I chose to do it in 2 colors. Now for all of our squares each month, we're using Red Heart Super Saver number 4, but you can use any yarn that you want to. Just make sure that your crochet hook corresponds with your yarn. And remember, if you choose a smaller or chunkier yarn, you're going to get a different size square. You can also do any colors that you want. We're going to be stitching today with our H-hook. You're going to need a needle for weaving in your ends, and of course a pair of scissors for clipping your yarns. Now for today's demonstration, I'm going to be using this light blue. I'll go ahead and move the blocking board. I'm going to use this light blue and this cream color, and I chose these colors because I want it to be able to see it, and I'm going to do the center in the blue so that the crystal or diamond pops out. It doesn't take very much at all of the yarns, depending on how many that you want to make. They are super fun to make, and I have a really fun project in mind what we'll do with the squares when we're all done. So grab your H-hook and some fun yarn, and we'll go ahead and get started. To get started, we need to make our slip knot and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to join this in a circle, so we're going to take the tail of our yarn and pull it through that loop. And then we're just going to give it a little bit of a knot so it stays put. You know me, I always put a couple. Don't want my granny square to come open in the middle of my project. All right. So now we have our chain 5 loop. To begin our granny square or our Afghan square, we're going to put our hook through the hole, draw up a loop, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 2. And now we're going to stitch 3 more clusters of 3 double crochet, chain 2. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. We're going to do one more. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then we're going to join to the top of that first chain 3. Now the chain 3 at the beginning of each row is going to count as our first double crochet. Now we don't want to flip our work over, so what we're going to do next is we're going to slip stitch in the top of those next 2 double crochets and then go in that corner and chain 3. And this is what your square should look like for round 1. All right, let's do round 2. Now our chain 3 counted as our first double crochet, so we're going to place 2 more double crochets in that same corner. Chain 2, and then 3 double crochets in that same corner. And chain 2. 1, 2. And now you can see that your first corner is made. We chain 2, and now in the next 3 corners we're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then chain 2. So here's our next corner. We're going to stitch 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and now 3 more double crochets in that same corner. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2. So there's our second corner. And we're going to repeat what we did for this corner in these next 2 corners, and then we'll join to the top of our chain 3 again. So I completed all 4 of those corners, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2, all the way around. I joined to the top of my chain 3. We're going to slip stitch in those next 2 double crochets. We're going to go right in that first corner, chain 2 space, and pull up a loop and only chain 1. This is what your round should look like at the end of round 2. For row 3, we're going to be stitching with single crochets. And by doing that, this is going to make the diamond in the center of our square stand out and have a nice finished edge in the center of our square. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here. We only chained 1 because we're working with single crochets. And in this first corner, we're going to place 2 single crochets. 1, 2. We're going to chain 2 and then place 2 more single crochets. And that will be our first corner. 1, 2. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the next double crochets. So we'll have 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 2, and then we're going to place 1 single crochet in the next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So we placed in our first corner 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. Then we placed 1 single crochet in the top of each of these double crochets, chain 2, and then 1 single crochet in the top of the next 3 double crochets. And now we're back to our next corner. So we're going to go in that chain 2 space in the corner and stitch 2 single crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, and then we'll stitch 2 more single crochets, 1, 2, and that's our next corner. And then we'll do the same thing over here we did on the first side. 1 single crochet in the next 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 1 single crochet in the next 3 double crochets. And then we'll go right in that next corner. And we'll do this on all the corners and all the sides. 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet in those 3 double crochets, chain 2, 1 single crochet in those 3 double crochets, and then we're going to be back at the next corner. 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets. And you'll repeat this on these last 2 corners and join to the top of our single crochet. So after you've finished all 4 of your sides, we join to the top of our chain 1 and tie off. And I went ahead and used my needle and weaved that end in. Now, so here's the diamond in the center of our little 6-inch square. And now we're going to add our second color. We're not going to join to the corner, we're going to join to the side. And we're going to join in that chain 2 space right above this chain 2 space in the center of our side. Don't go through this big chain 2 space, go through the small one, because if you do, it will mess up the shape of our diamond. So we want to make sure we go in between. Oops, there we go. And chain 3, 1, 2, 3. See where my stitch went through? That chain 2 space, not the big chain 2 space, but the small one we made with our single crochets. All right, now in this chain 2 space, we're going to stitch a corner. So we're going to stitch 2 double crochets because the chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, because our chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then in the chain 2 space we made with our single crochet, we're going to make a double crochet, chain 1, some more yarn out here, and double crochet. So basically we just made a V-stitch. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to make a corner in the second side of our diamond. So we're going to go in that chain 2 space and stitch 3 double crochets. Whoops, gotta get some yarn out here. There we go. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And what's happening is our sides are becoming our corner. All right, chain 2, and then we're going to go in the chain 2 space in that corner. We're going to make 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. And we'll do this on the next 2 sides. Chain 2, make our corner of 3, 2, 3 in this chain 2 space, and then in this chain 2 space, double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, and we'll do that on these other corners, and then we'll join to the top of our chain 3 here after we chain 2. So chain 2, and we'll make our next corner. So this is what this row should look like. I know it has a little bit of a rounded appearance, but you'll see as we do it that the corners will really stick out more and the diamond will pop right out. All right, so this next row, we're going to slip stitch in those next 2 double crochets. And remember, this is our corner now, so we're going to make a corner. So we're going to join and chain 3. And we'll stitch 2 more double crochets. 1, 2, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And then we'll chain 2. Now, we're going to be stitching in this chain 2 space right here. We're going to place 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space. 1 and 2. We're going to chain 2, and then we're going to move right over here to this next chain 2 space. 1, 2, and see how you can starting to see that it's turning back into a square a little bit, not quite so rounded. All right, now we go right back to our next corner, and we stitch 3 double crochets. My goodness, can't get my yarn to keep coming. There we go. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and chain 2, and there's that first side. We did our corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, then 2 double crochets in that first chain 2 space. We chain 2, then we go to the next chain 2 space and double crochet 2, 2 double crochets, and then we're back at the corner. So basically, we're starting to get our square back to its normal shape. All right, so I've done the next corner. I'm going to put 2 double crochets in the first chain 2 space. And then I'm going to chain 2, put 2 double crochets in this next chain 2 space, and chain 2. And now we're back at the corner. We'll do the same thing, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And you can see the diamond is starting to pop out. We're getting our square back. And so what you're going to do on the last 2 rows, do exactly like we did. 3 double crochet, I should say sides, not rows. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the corner, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, corner, and then 1 more side, and then we'll join to the top of that chain 3. So we finished the 5th round, and now we're going to do the last round, and the last round is similar to the 3rd round where we did the single crochet. And we're going to do it similar, 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets, and then but the only difference is we're going to be single crocheting in our chain 2 spaces as well as in our double crochets. So what you'll do, you'll put 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space and then 1 single crochet in the double crochets. All right, so we're going to begin at this corner and put 2 single crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Pull out a little bit more yarn here. There we go. All right, so next we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of these double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to place 2 single crochets in this chain 2 space. 1 and 2. Then we're going to place a single crochet in the 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then again we're going to place 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space. There we go. And again, 1 double crochet in each of the double, or 1 single crochet in each of these 2 double crochets, and then 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space. Then we'll place 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets. And then we're at the corner, 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And that gives us a nice edge, helps it hold its shape, and helps that diamond just really stick out in the center. So we'll repeat what we just did on all of the next 3 sides. We'll join to the top of the single crochet and tie off because we'll be done. This is the way your square should look when you're finished after your 6th round, where we single crocheted around the edge. Now it might seem a little bit wavy, and that's where blocking comes into it. Make sure when you finish you join to the first single crochet and tie off, and use your needle to weave those ends in. Forgot to tell you that. Now this is one I have on the blocking board, and it's really easy to block them. Just pin it down, spritz it with some water, or you can get it wet and put it on the board. I like them just dampish. I don't want to get them soaking wet. And then I pin it, leave it overnight, and it crisps them up. Lots of people say you don't need to block acrylic, but I do, especially if I've got a project that I'm working on, because sometimes we might stitch tighter than other days, depending on what we're watching on TV, and I might have had my gauge off a little bit, and that can help us get it even if we're going to sew them together. So there's the yellow and white one, and here's the blue and cream one. And this is a free pattern on my blog, and it also has a photo tutorial on the blog if you're one who prefers to look at the picture opposed to a video. So that's our April diamond or clear crystal Afghan square.